Let's recreate this Orbit Trails project, just a vanilla Three.js app using React 3 Fiber. I've created a course of the basics of Three.js, cameras, lighting, primitives, and so on. Check it out. It's available at discount pricing until the end of this year. I want to give a big thanks to Exponent at tryexponent.com for making me their brand ambassador. Check them out. I've created a basic template that you can start from, and you can download that and jump in the directory. It looks like this. CD into that directory, and then yarn and yarn dev. Just typing yarn is the same as typing yarn install, and the double ampersand means do both of these things, and dev is to run this dev script, which is in the package JSON, which just calls vite. Okay, then you get this, and if you don't see this window, I'll close this. If you don't see this, you can hold down a command key, maybe it's control on a Mac, I don't know, command key, and click this, and it'll open up here. This is where we'll start from for our project. Let's open it up in our let's open up the project in VS Code and open up app.jsx. Close this for now, I don't need it. Okay, it's got all the basic stuff. We're not going to need this get layer. I'm going to delete that, delete the BG sprites, and then remove this line here. So now we just have the icosahedron floating in space. Let's make that icosahedron slightly more, let's see, I can type args equals and pass in the args, like the radius, make it 2 and detail 1. And I'll refresh, nothing happens. Am I in the right one? And if I change the material color to green, does that show up? It does. Oh, because I typed arg wrong. Args. There we go. And let's just say flat shading is true. Or just like that. Refresh. Sometimes you have to refresh to see a change. Great, this is our starting. Actually, 2. Is that enough? It might be enough. 3. Bless you. I think. Let's start with 3. Yeah. Instead of a icosahedron mesh, I want to have points instead. So instead of returning a mesh, I'm going to return points object. Like this. Points. Points. Wonder what happens if I just do that. Does it have an error? There's no error, but there's nothing there. What if we made this points material, like that? Oh, that works. Don't need that flat shading, but the size could be smaller. 0.05? Like that. Cool. It's rotating a little bit too fast for my flavor. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. That's better. That green is interesting, I think. If it's not what you expect, you can change the see, GL equals tone mapping. No tone mapping. Let's see if that changes. Oh, I gotta import 3. Fair enough. Import star as 3 from 3. That should fix it. Yes, that made it actually green. There we go. I want each one of these dots to have trails. I was unable to figure out a way to use the after image post-processing inside of React 3 Fiber. Dre provides a bunch of post-processing effects, but after image is not one of them. Let's create a bunch of these and offset them slightly. I'm going to create a new component, function ico, it has to be capitalized if you want it to be Icosphere points. Nope. Icosphere group. Or yeah, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is set up an array to push my children into, and I want, oh gosh, 40 children will do. Let's push those in there. Each child is this component here, and I'm passing in an index because I want to use that, and a key. And then at the end of my icosphere group, I'm just going to return that a group with those children inside it, and that'll go here. Save it, and nothing happens. I think they're all... Oh, are you still complaining about 3, or is that an old error? Let's reload. I think that's an old error. Now, I want to unpack that index and use it. Console.log index. See what that looks like. It's a number. It starts at 0 and goes to 39. I'm going to use that value to offset the rotation slightly. Plus offset. And that offset is going to vary for each icosphere. Const offset equals index. Let's try that. Okay, that's not quite working. And that's because it's incrementing too much. Let's make the offset 0. Oh boy, and then reload. Okay, good. Instead, I want to use this delta time, which is passed into the use frame. The first parameter passed in I'm not going to use. It's the state, but I want that delta, and I'm not going to use the frame either. And let's just say let elapsed time equals 0, and then I'll increment that. Elapsed time plus equals d time times some value. And now I can just say it's equal to this plus the offset. And the effect will be better, I bet. Let's make the offset 0.1. Oh boy. Why is it not working? I don't know why. Is that because of a breakpoint? Why are you not working? Sometimes you lose way more time than you want. I've lost several minutes of my life because I used curly braces here to destructure the arguments which didn't need destructuring. So that's back to normal. Not quite what I was looking for though. Let's do that, and let's close this up. Let's make it a really subtle offset. Still not what I'm looking for. I think this offset might be too high. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're getting closer to our goal. What just happened? I've created 40 icosphere point things. And I'm offsetting each one of them a little bit. I could do it this much, and then I think that'll provide separation. Yeah, that's kind of cool too. So to refine the look of this thing, which needs refining, this is way too slow. Yeah. Let's make it so that there's a variation in the color, and we can do that. I'm going to do it based on its position. So we'll get a vertex position. Based on that, we'll give it a hue, ranging from warm to cold. And then we can also change the point size, make them smaller as you progress, so it looks like a tail. And we can use a sprite too. Should we start with the sprite? I want this use loader utility. And I guess I put it inside the icosphere. Here's what I'm gonna do. Const sprite equals use loader. Pass in the 3.texture loader and the image I want to use. Pretty sure that's already in this directory inside of, it's not an asset, it's in public. Nope, not in here. Boo. Let's put it in there. So actually, once that's in there, map equals sprite. Like that. That's how that's going to look. If I save it, it goes black. And is there an error? Oh, yeah, there is an error. Could not load circle because it doesn't exist yet. Let's put it in this public directory. Like so. All right. Save. Can it find it now? Hang on, maybe I need to reload. Yeah, now I can find it. Wow, why does that look so much cooler already? What is going on? Am I using lights? No lights. Why are some of them black and some of them are not black? What? What if I took off this color? They should all be white. And they're not all white. That is puzzling me. Also, I don't see the texture either. So, this points material is getting a little more sophisticated. Because I'm using a sprite that's got transparency, I want to use this alpha test property and this transparent property. And it still doesn't work. Is there an error? Where's my sprite? Interesting. Let's comment all these guys out. And they're all full strength now. I'm going to keep moving ahead and hope that this kind of sorts itself out. And by moving ahead, I'm going to replace this icosahedron geometry with a buffer geometry. It's like so. Actually, yeah, let's do that. So that means I need to create that buffer. Excuse me, that means I need to instantiate icos geo equals a new 3.icosahedron geometry with our settings. I'm going to create a new ico vertices is equal to this quality. In the ico geo, the icosahedron geometry has an attributes property, and inside of that there are a couple of float32 arrays used by Three.js to render it, and one of them is position. So let's grab that, and I want to get const count. I need that, right? Don't I need that? I don't need this. I'm going to use this here. So create this buffer attribute. And what do we need to tell it? It needs a couple of properties. It needs attach object. That's not correct. That's the old way of doing it. Attach to attributes position without the array, like that. By the way, in my research, I noticed that people would lose a lot of time trying to get this attach object property to work. And the lesson, the takeaway from all of it is just go read the React 3 fiber docs. All right. So let's see what happens when I do that. Reload. Hey, look, now I've got my points. My points did not want to render just using that ico geometry, and I better do that alpha test again. In fact, they were rendering really wonky. Yeah, look at those nice little circles now. Great, we're making progress. I still don't have the colors I want. And to get the colors, I'm going to use this vertex colors property, like so. But now they're still not going to work. I need another buffer attribute. Pause. Okay, my son is practicing his clarinet, and we have a video to make. Okay, another buffer attribute. He's playing Everybody Wants to Rule the World on clarinet. So we're going to attach this one to the color, and let's just pass in that same array and see what happens. Oh, we said vertex color. Nothing is happening at all. Let's reload. Okay, something's happening now. Isn't that interesting? When working with vanilla.js, I don't need to reload to see changes. It just automatically refreshes, you get all the changes. But with this development environment using React 3 Fiber, sometimes you need to manually refresh to see the changes. That's been my experience anyway. So we got these delightful rainbow colors, and size equals, yeah, that's actually what I want. But I'm gonna pull that out into its own property. Const size equals boom. And let's see. Yeah, now see they get smaller. Let's reduce that gap. What's that? That's the offset. Here, let's reduce that to 1. Yeah, look at that. See how, hell, I could go even a little bit smaller. Oh my god, am I crazy? Oh, look at that. Alright, let's fix the color. Right now I'm just passing in the position, so XYZ is RGB. Size. What are you mad about size about? JSX can't have multiple. Oh, it has 2 of them. My bad. Alright. Here goes nothing. I've got my icosahedron geometry, and what I'm going to do is loop over all its vertices and create a color for each vertice. For each vertex. It's going to be based on its position. So I'll create an empty array to contain all those colors. And here's kind of a color object that we can reuse again and again just to be more efficient. And there's my icoverts array. Here's a helper vertex 3 that we're going to use to extract that position from this array. Because this array is not just a bunch of vec3s. It's just a massive flat array that GPUs like, but we want to use it. We're going to use it in a way that humans like to read. Let's loop over every one of those vertices. This method is going to pull that vertex. It's going to pull the vertex out, the vector 3. From that, I'm going to calculate a hue based on its X position. Then I'm going to calculate the lightness based on based on the index. In the same way that I'm calculating the size based on the index. Now the color, I'm just going to extract these RGB components and then push that into this colors array. And if I use this colors buffer here, we get this nice hue shift based on the X position of the guys. I think it would be more clear if I did that for Y. So the North Pole would be kind of light colored, and the South Pole would be hot colored. Let's see, do I get the same effect if I don't rotate this guy? Would it be more obvious? Yeah, see how the warm colors are at the bottom, the cool colors at the top? Let's rotate those guys again. I just think that's really nice. You can exaggerate that effect too with this by adjusting the hue here. Like I can make it much more rainbowy. Hang on, reload. Yeah. Or much less rainbowy. In fact, you can't even see it at all. Please leave a comment below if you've got a suggestion on how to avoid having to reload every time. I'm still learning React 3 Fiber, so I don't know. There you go. Try out some different variations on this. Play with different ways of using color. Use noise to create different color effects. Create longer trails. Let's see what that looks like right now. Instead of 40, let's do 100. Ooh, that's not great. And that's because of the lightness setting I have. I'd have to dial back the lightness here, this guy here. Add another 0, that might help. Oh, you know what it is? I need to be reloading. Oh yeah. There we go. Refresh. There we go. Try adding more points to the icosphere. This geometry has detail 4. What if we made it a detail 8? And refresh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And 16, because I'm freaking insane. Oh yeah. Cool. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.